Anytime I remember the kind suffer, where this man suffer.
What's the name of that
Gold
man?
pictures. Gold pictures. If Messi denied this one, I will stone her to death. I swear.
Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. The daughter of the late Nollywood producer and marketer Vitus Nebwe, popularly known as Gold Picture, has come online to reveal everything about her father's demise, the pain he went through, the spiritual torture, in confirmation of what Mrs. Ifoma had said. Recall that Mrs. Ifoma have been accusing Mercy Johnson of being the brain behind the numerous deaths in Nollywood, and she also accused her of initiating her into witchcraft. She categorically called out Mercy Johnson for torturing the late producer Gold Picture in their spiritual realm of witchcraft and finally taking his life. Watch the video, guys.
Hi guys, so this is actually the first time I'm coming out to make this kind of video publicly. Before you all come for me, right? I'm not here for publicity. I'm not here for the fame of this video or anything. I'm simply here for my dad. Alright? So I am the daughter of late Mr. Vitus Chima Nebwe, who is mostly known in the Nollywood industry as Gold Pictures. I have a lot of inputs regarding the Mrs. Mercy Johnson Okoje and her acclaimed best friend saga. Yes. So I think her name is Mrs. Ifoma. Yeah. From what I saw, I think that's what she was calling herself. So in the video she posted on YouTube, she said something about Mrs. Mercy Okoje being a witch. Yeah, and also that she has a hand in the deaths of these Nollywood actors, marketers, and the rest. Well, in one of her videos, she mentioned that my dad was being tied in a bottle in their spiritual realm. He was being tied in a bottle, and that he couldn't breathe spiritually. So in another video she mentioned that and I quote, Vitus Nebwe, Gold Pictures, Mercy used this man. Mercy turned the man to Mumu, and I heard it's late that Benedict Johnson told her he's late. Okay.
Gold Pictures. I heard he's late. I never knew he's late. Mercy used the man, turned the man to Mumu in my presence. Mercy, not the one where they pay me pass. Not the one where crime pass. Mercy, so of everything where you do Vitus, why all I still suffer? Vitus suffer. Who go what them is about to suffer?
I really don't know where to start from regarding this whole issues that is arising, and I wouldn't have made this video if Gold Pictures was never mentioned. I mean, this is what happens here in our country, Nigeria. Okay, This is what we call medicine after death. I'm not trying to be biased. I'm not trying to shade anyone here, no. But instead, I just want to throw more light about my deceased dad. We lost him 2021, November 5th. And before he died, it was not an ordinary death. That I must attest publicly. His death was not ordinary at all. So I'm still trying to connect the dot from what Mrs. Sifoma stated on her last video and what happened physically. Now she made mention that he could not breathe. Before he died, he was not breathing. Before he died in the presence of his 3 little children, his 3 little kids, he didn't breathe. He was not breathing. He was gasping for air. He called me. I was in school when this man called and told me to pray for him, that he cannot breathe, that I should please pray for me. He doesn't want to die. He called me. My mom was at the prayer mountain praying. I was in school reading. How a person wanted passes now? I did poorly that year in school. So Mrs. Sifoma, you knew about all these things. And you kept it to yourself all along. I mean, from your video, it shows, in fact, it's very obvious that you know the man very well. You know, you were wailing and crying and all. So it's obvious that you probably might know this man. So what stopped you from reaching out to his family? Or reaching out to him? Okay, this is how it is. Now, mind you, before you come at me, my dad mentioned one certain time that he met with a medicine man, and this man told him that it's an actress that is actually doing him this thing that is happening to him. So, and he was thinking, he kept racking his head, who is this person that I have offended? You know what he did next? He held a meeting, or he actually had a meeting with one particular actress, not Mrs. Mercy Johnson Okudeo, another person entirely, whom he thought was the person behind his whole problems. He offered to give this person an amount, a certain amount of money like that, and she refused. She said no, that she would never accept such a thing, that she would never do such a thing to gold. Yes, that's what they call him, gold. Oga gold. She said she will not accept that she's not the one behind anything, that she won't do it no matter what. That whatever differences they have has not gotten to the extent where she'll be taking his name somewhere else to punish him. So, Mrs. Palmer mentioning this thing, you people are throwing shade, commenting, she's this, she's that, she's jealous. Jealous of what? What is there to be jealous of? Like she said, they were childhood friends. You heard the spiritual coexistence between them about her mother swapping clothes between she and Mrs. Mercy. So before we start doing all these things, let us think. We Nigerians, we are very quick to judge somebody and push someone to suicide. Then when the person dies, we don't pay attention. No. When the person dies, it becomes something else. That's what Mr. Kumel, she said it, or she did this, she did that. I'm not taking sides. No, but I'm trying to throw more light. That in whatever she might be stating, there might be an atom of truth. That's why I'm telling you a little story about my dad's demise. So my dad had no idea that Mercy might be behind his predicament because of the kind of good relationship they had. I am proud to say this, that my father Good Pictures made Mrs. Mercy Johnson Okoje a star, whoever she is right now. Gold Pictures production, she should be able to attest to this statement that I'm making for a fact. Unless maybe, nobody, it's normal. Nobody wants to attach their growth to someone else except God. Gold Pictures and God made you who you are today. That is the truth. Almost, you even said it in one of your interviews on a particular newspaper. I can't really state. I read it. So I'm still trying to understand if what Mrs. Ifeoma is stating is true. What led to that? Because both of you obviously had a great friendship, unless there was something behind that we don't know of, and my father never mentioned. So what could be the issue? You see, one of her videos, the first video she made was a live video with Angela. Yes, Angela. So that was the first time Angela mentioned something that there was also a marketer that she did something to, and then Mrs. Informer stated that it was Gold Pictures, that if Mrs. Johnson should deny that she was going to stone her to death, and wow, like that statement, there are some statements people make, that even if every other things you've been saying are not true, because of that particular statement, you begin to rethink. What gives you that assurance for you to say if Mrs. Mercy should deny such statements that you were going to stone her to death? I think the second video happened to be the last video that I will ever search for. Because the more you keep digging, the more you keep saying things that you don't want to say. The more you keep hearing things that you don't want to hear, or you don't even want to know. My father suffered. Sometimes if I rewatch her videos, if I go back to these videos and I start reminiscing how this man, not be today, not be here, the suffering takes start. It wasn't that year 2021 that he died that his suffering started. Years coming. Memory loss. Is it dressing like someone that like a wanderer? Is it dressing like someone that is losing his mind? Things just started sinking day by day, slowly. And you knew because in one of your videos you stated that when she wants to do something to you, it takes time. It takes years before it starts manifesting.
If you quarrel with Mercy, if you are angry with her, or you just if say you curse her for public because she don't fame, once you insult Mercy in public, Mercy go hurt you, no trace. I swear. Mercy Johnson will hurt you, you no go see trace. And if she go hurt you, she go wait for give her 1 year, 2 year. That is how Mercy hurts.
Those years, those months that it was taking, you could have chipped it in to him. There, go for prayer, so men, do this one, do that one. But you did nothing. Like I said earlier, this is medicine after death. We're at home one particular day, a particular evening. That was the second time he went missing. Before he went missing, this is my father. I don't know what he went to the bathroom, maybe to brush or to, because he started spitting, he started throwing up salivas. You understand? So before he left, he went to the bathroom to rinse his mouth and things like that. He was taking time, and his last son, his last boy, we're all here, but who noticed? His child, the last one. Daddy, what are you doing? Daddy, why are you wasting time now? What's happening? Did he answer him? He couldn't speak. He couldn't talk. And my brother said, I told you, come and check this, come and check Daddy. I don't understand what is happening to him. He's not saying anything. I went inside the bathroom and I saw my dad. There are situations you find yourself in in your entire life. You've never been that scared. I was so scared. I was confused. I saw my dad. He could not even look at me. He couldn't look at me. I was pleading with him, Daddy, look, please look at me. Daddy, please look at me. He was crying. He was crying. A man where they cry. I was begging, Daddy, please just look at me. Okay, just try and look at me. I shouted the blood of Jesus. I did what I believe I could do best at that moment, and then I called on my mom so that to come and see what is happening to him. And she rushed in, and the next thing she said was, this is stroke. Oh, this is that. She said she channeled the whole thing to be a stroke, and she brought a bottle of oil. Yeah, she brought a bottle of oil and said she poured it on the cover and then gave it to me. She asked me to pour it in the mouth of my dad, which I did. I was scared, but I was doing it because he's my dad, and I just saw him tearing up. I saw him crying, and I was like, what's really happening? And then I poured the oil in his mouth, and I held my father's face, and I brought down his head because I had no idea what he was staring at up. I brought down his head, and I just heard him cry this cry of pain, this cry of I am tired, I don't, let me just go. That was what. And you were there. And you were there. You knew all these things all along. We could have found a solution. We could have worked together. We could have tried as much as possible to prevent these things from happening, but you didn't say anything. And now it's gone. And you are out here saying someone tied him in a bottle and okay, I think like I said, all these videos, I would not go back to these videos because it's really opening healing wounds. Okay, fine. The least you could have done, if maybe you were too scared to confess or too scared to do the right thing, was to attend his own burial. Wow. Wow, just wow. When I remember how my dad started dressing like someone who is losing his mind, I would, because of him, I'll have to come back from school very early. I don't even focus anymore in school. I remember having 2 Fs. I mean, like, a result came out and I was having Fs, like 2. I'll come home, I'll look for, just local leaves. I would make him sit outside. I would help put the leaves under his feet. Because we were just fighting unseen battles. We were fighting battles that we know nothing about. I mean, the herbalist gave us a clue that it was an actress. We met the wrong person. Anytime I remember the kind suffer, where this man suffered, I recall how my father suffered. Just people out there don't care about you and I. They don't care about just man. If not all the sickness that occurred to him then, that period. This did not even come once. Like I said, if it was a one-time thing, like you just go there, you die straight up. Not waiting, not suffering like this, not going through hard times, not the battles that we fought. The most painful part, we kept fighting, we kept going places, we kept thinking far and near, thinking about so many different things. We just needed one clue. Just one clue. If you had given us just one clue, just one, maybe you would have been alive today. I mean, maybe it would have been a different issue. We would have been fighting a different story entirely. When the herbalist told us, so the medicine man, when he told us that it was an actress, we thought it was somebody else. Like I stated before, he met the woman and the woman told him that no matter there are differences, I mean, it has not gotten to the level where she will have to be taking his name somewhere else. And then we forgot about that part. We just completely forgot about it. Thinking maybe the herbalist was bluffing, or that might not be the problem. Not knowing that the man was right. I mean, if what she's stating is true, it's too late now. It's too late. There's no witchcraft in law. You're stating that she's a murderer, or she has taken a lot of souls. You saw him in the spiritual realm inside bottle, and so many. It's not only my father, but I'm out here because he's my dad. I'm out here because of that man. I'm showing my face to these people because of him. Because it's not like any solution can be rendered. It's not like anything will change. But I'm just so. I'm so disappointed because just one clue would have saved this man's life. Just one clue. They had children in school. Now you left all the workload for his wife. Do you know the burden that you have placed on my shoulders right now? It's very funny. Oh. This is what we see in Nigeria. This is how people die, wasted lives. People will know some kind of things, but they will keep it to themselves. What it means to lose someone from your family. This man promised me a lot, and you and your best friend took everything. Yes, you took everything, because now you're blaming her. You're an accomplice also, because you knew you could have prevented it, but you did nothing. You did nothing. Instead, you're out here, you're ranting, you're talking about I don't even know what you're saying, but it's all good. At least thank you for coming out to confess now that he's dead.